United v Southampton tactics preview. I'm Mark Goldbridge. We're going to be looking at how Manchester United are going to line up Southampton and also how we think Louis van Gaal will line up. But let's get straight into it at the start. Accidental and the Smalling tackle was worse. If I had £1 for every time somebody said that to me today, or whether it was on our comments section, Twitter or whatever, all I'd say to those people is I'm off to the bar to get your pint of bitter. And while I'm there, I'll get a big handful of straws and you can clutch at those as well. Let's just say that Luke Shaw's tackle was absolutely abysmal and we'll move on from it. Last night, a lot of Manchester United fans, me included, if you watched the live match reaction, were absolutely appalled by it. We've got to move on. We will move on. As I said earlier, Manchester United, it's not about how many times you fall down. It's about how many times you stand back up. We need to stand back up this weekend. We'll have a look at the team and that. But I think the thing about Luke Shaw, I mean, it's no disrespect to the likes of Rooney, Herrera, Mata. But if one of those were out for the season, God forbid, we could work around it. You've got the likes of Pereira, Wilson, people on the bench who can come in and do a job. Unfortunately, we've lost Luke Shaw. To be honest, it's arguably our best player in the team so far this season. Looks world class, and it's horrific. And in that position of left back, he's irreplaceable really. And we're now left in a depression where our defence looked like one of the best in the league, and it's now back to square one. We've got to start again. Obviously, we'll come back from that, but it was really disappointing. And Luke Shaw is probably one of the three players you would not want to lose at the moment, with probably Smalling. And I would say De Gea, to be honest, even though he's only just come back. Without him, we're struggling in goalkeeper. So disappointed with that, but we move on. And that's what we're moving on with. And this is my team that I would start with on Southampton. Ben S says, still fuming about Luke. Yeah, definitely. Anthony Adolburu says, drop Blins. Not at all. And Lewis Benentz says, I can't stop thinking about Lukey boy. All the best to him. Hopefully he'll come back. He's a young lad. He's 19 years old. It's a clean break, I'm hearing. He could be back by March. We've got to get on with it without it. And siege mentality is something I keep saying. I think Manchester United have lost sight of that over the years. But the days of going back way before a lot of the viewers I know, the days of the team of Bruce, Pallister, Hughes, Cantona, Keenant, they didn't take any rubbish, and they'd have been all over the referee last night. Even the 99 team would have been as well. That was disappointing. We need some bite. Maybe football's lost that bite with these multimillionaires who play each week, but there should have been some passion. There should have been some reaction to that last night. We are a young team, but we lacked leadership, and we missed Rooney last night because Rooney would have been all over the ref, and for all his criticism, he would have been all over the referee. He would have reacted to that, and we do miss that. We need that bite back. That's why Rooney walked straight back into my team. That's the first thing I want to discuss. And people are saying, should Rooney come back into the team? Martial played really well last night. I was really impressed by his strength, which is something I wasn't aware he had. And I think he can play that number 9 position, no problem. He should play against Southampton. He's a threat and he scares teams. And PSV played deeper than most teams ever play against us or have them for 18 months. So I would play him. Mata was a disaster in the number 10 position. Some people saying today, well, he needs a few more games and he'll get better. You don't get a few more games at Manchester United. He should be a number 10 who can play there. He didn't play very well last night. We would have won the game if he had a good game. Rooney's got to come back into the team. Rooney comes back into the team at number 10. I was sort of thinking whether we should drop Mata. I think Mata should play on the right. I wasn't impressed with Ashley Young. His crossing was really poor. Obviously, Memphis on the left. Carrick, Schweinsteiger have to play. I don't understand what Schneiderlin's done wrong to miss out on the last couple of games, but Schweinsteiger's been really good. And Carrick, keep saying it on this channel. Even Louis van Gaal doesn't listen. You play Carrick, you win. You drop Carrick, you don't win. It's not rocket science. It's that simple. Look at the statistics. But let's get into the big thing that really matters for Manchester United against Southampton and also for the next few months. No Luke Shaw. Take him out your fantasy football team. He's not playing until at least March. He's gone. We've got to forget about him in the sense of our first team and really pray that he comes back as good as he was. All the best, Luke, like I say. But I would line up with this. Daley Blind goes in at left back. You keep Darmian at right back. There's loads of options, really. You could keep Blind at centre back, put Rowe at left back. You could move Darmian across to left back, put Valencia at right back. You could keep Darmian at right back. You could put Ashley Young at left back. Out of those 4 options at left back, Darmian has got to stay on the right. He's got a good understanding there. Wasn't brilliant against PSV, but we'll forgive him for that because he's been absolutely sensational. And he's a right footer and he gives us balance down the right. He's got to stay there. You bring Valencia in at right back, we're back to square one with last season. I've said it before. He's like playing noughts and crosses. But he never uses cross. We're just going round in circles with Valencia. We don't want him. He came on for the last 10 minutes last night. We were a dead duck. we were useless because he cannot put the cross into the box. That's another reason why I wouldn't put Ashley Young at left back. He would give us that pace that Shaw had, but he's totally right-footed, terrible with his left foot, and again, we won't be getting good crosses into the box. Rojo potentially could play left back, but I would play Blind there because for the 4 or 5 games we played really well last season against Spurs and Liverpool or City, and City, not all City. Blind played at left back and was really good. Hasn't got the pace of Shaw, but he's a very good left back. I'm not happy about it because him and Smalling were playing really well at centre back, but we need balance on our fullbacks are really, really important to this system. That's why Luke Shaw is a huge loss. Blind's got to play left back for me. He'll put the crosses in. He's got an excellent left foot and he provides that balance with Darmian on the right. We start messing around with anything else, we're going to lose a lot. That's why I would do it. Ethan Stevenson says, thought Schweinsteiger was good. He was trying to make things happen. The pass to Mata was world class. Yeah, Schweinsteiger cannot come out of the team at all for me. Jeff Hindler, gamblers take note. Carrick plays, we win. He doesn't, we lose. It's a fact. I can't understand why Louis van Gaal can't figure it out. I honestly thought that Herrera was nearly the worst on the pitch yesterday, Ian Fitzgibbon. Well, as you can see, Herrera's not in my team. Massive fan of Herrera on this channel, but he's got to play further forward. When you play him as that pivot role, I was talking to Alex actually on Twitter today, and he'd said before the game that Herrera in that defensive pivot role just doesn't work, and he's right. Against Club Brugge, he was poor. He goes into the advanced position, he's good. He didn't have a good game yesterday like Mata, and I can't see him anywhere near the starting 11 on Saturday. So that's how I would line up like that. This is how I think Louis van Gaal will line up. As you can see, it's a little bit different. I think he will go for Ashley Young at left back. I think he'll keep the same. Well, Mata and Memphis on the flank sides. I don't think he'll play Martial. I think he'll put Rooney up top. I can see Fellaini coming in. I know that's going to shock a lot of people, but Fellaini was going to start last night, but didn't feel very well. Don't know whether you caught that in the second half. That's a fact. And I think he will quite like to keep Blind as a centre-back with Smalling. So that's how I think he will line up. I think Carrick and Schweinsteiger he will stick with. But Fellaini coming back into the team, how do you feel about that? I think the Fellaini ship has well and truly sunk like the Titanic. He's not a first-team player. I've always said that. I have said that he's a threat from the bench, but the last couple of games where we've tried that, Swansea, PSV last night, no problems. And if you think towards the end of last season when we were trying it, after the Chelsea game, Everton, Hull, everybody like that, he got sent off against Hull, didn't he? It just doesn't work. The Fellaini option doesn't work. And as soon as we brought him on for the last 10 to 15 minutes last night, we'd never looked like scoring. Before that, we looked like we were going to score. The pace in the attack was good. He slows it all down. I don't necessarily blame him. I think Louis van Gaal is so predictable with some of his substitutions. You know he's going to take Herrera off. You know he's going to bring Fellaini on. And I think teams are just well prepared for it now and well drilled that Fellaini was a very good weapon for Manchester United, but he isn't anymore. Dan from All Things Man United says Fellaini should be nowhere near the squad. Andrew Ellis, Fellaini is terrible. Lewis, BNTZ, Fellaini is crap. I think there is a twist and turn in relation to Fellaini. I don't. Last season I got on his back a hell of a lot. Not going to get on his back this season, but I just think the ship has sailed. I just don't think he offers us anything anymore. I think it never was the United way. And I think teams have figured it out. So what does he offer us, really? Cam Neville, Mark, what are your thoughts on Louis van Gaal not playing Pereira? Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I don't want to really look down at my list. I like to do this off the cuff. One of the things I did pick up on last night, I think a lot of people picked up on as well, is the bench was absolutely diabolical. Louis van Gaal's made some really good substitutions this season, but last night he was unable to do that because of the bench he picked. McNair and Rojo, waste of time, just have one. Schneiderlin and Carrick was the big one. Why have both of those on the bench? I know Schneiderlin's a big signing. He's a very good player and Carrick is irreplaceable, but putting them both on the bench, we didn't need them. You look at the team. We had Herrera and Schweinsteiger already in that team who can play the midfield role. You're only ever going to need to sub one of them. Emergency, you can always put somebody in there. Schneiderlin and Carrick on the bench yesterday took Wilson or Pereira's slot. Pereira should have been on the bench yesterday and he would have come on in the second half and made a difference. We had absolutely no creative spark on the bench. The only one we had was Fellaini, which again makes it so predictable for the opposition. Pereira and Wilson have got to get involved. I mean, I don't know what's happening with Wilson. I think he's meant to be going on loan, but for me, I just don't see what the point of that is. I think he can get plenty of football this season if he's an option off the bench. But the problem with Manchester United is Pereira was great on the US tour. I've been saying it for weeks. He was the standout player above anybody. But he's not had a look in since the opening game of the season when he was on the bench. He's not been on the bench since. He needs to be involved. This player, I'll put my reputation on it. He's going to be an absolute star. He needs to be involved. He needs to be on the bench. I don't think he'll be on the bench against Southampton, unfortunately. I think Rooney obviously comes back, which prevents another spot. I think the bench is just being used to not upset people. And at the end of the day, Schneiderlin and Carrick do the same job. I like them both. I think they both have a viable shout to be in the first team, but you've got to have a balance on your bench. And if that means Schneiderlin, sorry, you're not even on the bench today, probably doesn't deserve that, but we need a balanced bench. Don't put people on the bench just because they're a senior pro or an expensive signing. Pereira should have been on there. We had nothing off the bench yesterday. We started with a really good team. I was going to say yesterday, it was such a brand new thing. It's like opening the biscuit tin. For the last couple of years, you open that biscuit tin and all you've got is rich tea biscuits. It's boring. Yesterday, it was exciting. We had chocolate digestives, custard creams, the lot, fig rolls, absolutely fantastic, hobnobs. So many things and options in that team yesterday. It was really exciting, and that's the great thing about our squad. It's not massive, but there is a lot of potential in there. The big problem with our squad is when you get a couple of injuries, like we've got Rooney and Shaw at the moment, we suddenly leave ourselves a bit short. But Pereira's got to be involved for me, and I was disappointed with the bench yesterday. Tyler Mitchell, we need pace at fullback. Has to be Rojo. Rojo's not particularly quick though, Tyler. He's okay. And also, going forward, his attacking play is nowhere near on the level of Blind. And Blind is a very good compensator of pace. And Blind works really well down that left-hand side with Shaw. He knows Memphis. They can do it. I wish we had two Blinds. I wish we had Luke Shaw. But that left-back position is so important, and we need somebody who's going to put the ball into the box. Alan Young, please put Rooney back in the number 10 position. He's got to go in there. It was a real eye-opener last night. We lacked bite and leadership. Manchester United have always been fighters. We've always had our backs to the wall. Louis van Gaal tries to do things nicey, wants us to be liked. Look at UEFA last night. They give man of the match to Moreno. I mean, how insensitive is that to Luke Shaw? And he wasn't man of the match. Then Champions League today, they do a tweet out saying, who's going to be the young player of the year in the Champions League? I mean, is that a dig at Manchester United and Luke Shaw or what? Maybe I'm being oversensitive, but the reality is Manchester United need to get in the face of referees again. Louis van Gaal needs to be going mad on the touchline because that's what we want. We are a siege mentality club. Things are against us. I tell you what, we're on a boat. We're in a thunderstorm at the moment, but it won't rain forever. It will be sunshine soon, and we need to be more positive. And I don't buy into this Louis van Gaal thing. A few people on the comment section to the video last night were saying, "Oh, Mark, lately you've gone all pro Louis van Gaal. You used to talk sense." I am pro Louis van Gaal because we've got to cling on to that. If in a month's time or 2 months we're still playing boring football, we're not creating anything, then fine, I'll go back to where I was last season. But for the moment, I'm buying into this fact that he's trying to build a young, creative squad. He had a brilliant centre, a brilliant defence. He's got a brilliant midfield. The Luke Shaw thing is a knock that nobody deserves, and certainly Louis van Gaal cannot be criticised for that. It has rocked us, and we need to come together. We need to come together. And one of the things I wanted to say is, loads of PSV fans were coming on the comment section yesterday and saying, "Oh, you know, you bunch of pussies, Man United. It was a fair game, la-di-da, and all that rubbish." A couple of weeks' time, or whenever it is, we've got PSV at home. You know what all the fans should do at that ground? Get the fans, get the players up for it, and make it a cauldron. And I tell you what, everybody go there. Some business should print all this off. Print the number 23 up before the game. The whole support holds number 23 up. Let the players see that, and let's get at them gits for what they did yesterday, because they went at us vicious, and we need to get back at them. And that's what United need. They need to bite back, and that's why Rooney needs to come back in. Ashley Allah says Blind is the most underrated player in our squad. Certainly. Rooney needs to play at centre attacking midfield because we need the place up front with Martial. He needs to play number 10. And James Carter, our resident Chelsea fan, says Arsenal are losing. I don't care. I'm not bothered about other clubs. I just want to say that. Let's have a quick look at Southampton then, because it is a tactics preview and we do like to be quite balanced on this one. And Southampton, to be all in fairness, are tend to be a lot of teams, a lot of fans' second club in a way. And I do understand that. I've got a lot of respect for Southampton. They get bled dry by Manchester United as well every summer of their talent, and they keep churning out better talent and making good signings. I think they're struggling a bit this year. I think they're really missing Morgan Schneiderlin, which is quite ironic because Surely he will play against his old club. Louis van Gaal likes that, but that means that Schweinsteiger or Carrick won't play. And if he doesn't play Carrick again, I'm sorry, I will be there ranting straight after the match saying, if you don't play Carrick, you don't win. We've won every game that Carrick has started. So Carrick has got to play on Sunday. And how do you drop Schweinsteiger? But Schneidlin surely is going to play. I don't know. I'm getting in a muddle, but they miss Schneidlin, Wanyama and Davis. This is how they may line up, but I don't know. I know Jordy Classie's injured and Bertrand's injured. I don't know whether they're going to be back. I don't profess to be a massive Southampton fan. But Pella obviously is a threat. Rodriguez is back this season. Tadic, Marnie may play. Ward-Prowse played last weekend. But they've got pace in the attack. And our defence will need to be on its game. Midfield, we should dominate Wanyama and Davis. Wanyama is a worker, but we should beat them. And their defence isn't as good this year. They've lost Klein. They made a couple of signings. Bertrand's injured. And Fonte, who is a good centre-back. Van Dijk just coming from Celtic. We need to get at them. I think we can win this game. And I think we've got to go into it. And what I wanted to say, and I've forgotten as well, is that we had so much positivity after the Liverpool game. And we're all feeling really down at the moment. But let's forget Luke Shaw in the nicest possible way. He's out, he's injured, and I understand we all feel devastated and down about that, and we've got every right to feel about that. But on the football level, let's not get too down. We've been to PSV, it is a cauldron, we've lost 2-1, we shouldn't have lost. We're still in the same position after the Liverpool game. We've not lost any points in the league. We're still in that same positive position we were after we beat Liverpool. We need to be positive against Southampton. And as for PSV, if we turn the gates over at Old Trafford in a couple of weeks and we win all our home games, we'll get through the group stage. So let's the players need the fans at the moment. We've got to get behind them and be positive, and that's what Manchester United is. Rohit says Southampton is pacey. Fellaini will make us slow. I really hope Fellaini doesn't play, but I have a feeling we are. And Ewan McGregor says exactly. James Carter's still on about some crappy Champions League that doesn't involve us. James, if you're going to get involved, you've got to realise this is a Man United channel. We're not bothered about other clubs. Alan Young, apart from Shaw, I thought Blinder's been our best player. He can be our Franco Baresi. You don't need to be 6'4" to be a good centre-back. I'd agree with you there, Alan. Billy Lord Ormston, who's on Twitter, I'm sure a few of you follow him, says he can be our Frank de Boer. That's why part of me thinks when you go back to this Louis van Gaal side, of keeping Blinden at centre-back, I wouldn't be too opposed with it because centre-back's really important. Blind and Smalling have set up a really good understanding, and it would be compounding the loss of Luke Shaw if we then have to break that up. But I'd still stand by the fact that Daley Blind is our best option at left-back if we want to keep a balance and an attacking threat, because he is very good on the attack and he's got a really good cross. Ashley Young's very right-footed and Memphis is very right-footed. So we're always going to be very predictable and we're going to lose it. Move Darmian across, like I say. We're never going to get a cross at all in from either side because you're going to have Valencia who can't cross and Darmian who's not left-footed. And Rojo would be my option if we're not going to play Blind there. And I can see that option, but we'll see. Jeff Hindley, Blind is Martin's new, United's new Martin Buchan. There won't be many who know who he is, Jeff, but there you go. Southampton will be a tough game. JT7 Gaming says it will be a tough game. I've got a lot of respect and time for Southampton, but Manchester United, we've got a tough October and we need to get some points on Sunday. If we get beaten, then I think I am concerned that this there is a tide of Louis van Gaal out from United fans. I'm not saying I disagree with their opinion. I do disagree with their opinion because it's not what I think, but I can see where they're coming from, and I really don't think that is useful for us. I think last night was a one-off and not nice circumstances. But is there anything else I've missed? Rooney, Pereira, Wilson, we've discussed. Herrera, disappointing. Wasted bench. Number 23. And the Fellaini thing. I really do think that we're missing something out there. So, yeah, I'm going to say that we're going to win on Sunday. I think I'm going to go 2-1 to Manchester United. The one thing I would say, and I would agree with Manchester United fans here, is that when we go ahead in games like Swansea, an away game, PSV, an away game, we seem to let teams back in and not kill them off. We had the chances yesterday. It wasn't like we sat back and waited for them, because if we'd actually sat back against PSV, I think they'd have struggled because all their threat was on the break. We actually had a good go at them, and I disagree with people who say, "Oh, we weren't progressive and we weren't trying to play that killer pass." We were really on the front foot, and we really had them playing deep. We just didn't kill them off, which was a shame. How sad is our bench? Says Rowhead. Dat our only attacking sub options are Valencia. I like Valencia. I think he's a good centre midfield option actually, but and a right back backup. But he can't cross. When Valencia and Fellaini came on yesterday, I knew that was it. I knew we weren't going to score. JT7 Gaming says I think it'll be 1-1. Abhishek, Mark, to be honest, I think we played the best football yet at PSV. how did we lose that game? I think the players deserve a lot of credit, and I thought Mata was abysmal, and I love Mata. I love my Mata, and he really buys into what Man United's about with the blog and everything like that. But I do question whether he is good enough. He does a good position, he does a good role in that right hand side midfield, but long term, you do wonder if and when Pereira starts giving his chance. That's probably Pereira's position, and Mata's on the bench. But Louis van Gaal seems to quite like him this season. Lewis, Mark, we are also crap at pulling back from behind. Yeah, definitely. We do struggle at coming back at teams, which is something, again, Manchester United have never had trouble with. But the one negative I would have about Louis van Gaal is his predictable option when we're behind all the time is Chuck Fellaini on. And I just knew yesterday it wasn't going to work. It doesn't work at the moment. And he needs to move away from that. And if keeping James Wilson and not sending him on loan is getting away from that, then I'm all for that. But I think Martial's a real positive. Memphis needs to click into gear in the Premier League, and Sunday it's an exciting thing. That was what I'm saying. It's an exciting game to go to Southampton. Our backs up against the wall, and that always makes me feel good as a Man United fan. I like it when we're underdogs. I like it when everyone's having a go at us. I know all these idiots who are coming and have a go at Luke Shaw. I moved past all that now. It was raw yesterday. We go at it on Sunday, and we come back and we fight. And this season is about that. And we need to get behind the club, get behind the players, and back them. And if after a few more games there's no improvement, then yeah, we can start talking about Louis van Gaal. But for now, especially after last night, it's important that we get behind the team, and I'm sure we will do that. Peter McCullough, you're not a United fan. I don't know who you're talking about, Peter. Hopefully you're not talking about me. And Dean says, Scholesy, who has been critical of our play under Louis van Gaal, said we played well last night, which is true. I thought we played really well. I think we are getting better. Vinesh says the Fellaini experiment has clearly failed. When is the last time he made a big difference coming on, turning the game around? Bruges, wasn't it? And Anthony says, move on. I think there's a bit of banter going on the live comment box, so we'll leave it there. 22 minutes anyway. That's a long preview. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. What I did want to say is on the second paragraph on the video description is how you can enter. Remember, the United Stand is your channel. It is your channel, totally, and it's all about your opinions. There is something called the Footballing Blog Awards in November. You can vote in that now. We're encouraging everybody to vote now. We're encouraging everybody to vote in it. Go to the second paragraph. The best way to enter is through their website. You can also do it through the tweet link as well. But the big thing about this is we are in the best new football blog category. Our biggest competitor at the moment is Anfield Chat. So it's Manchester United against Liverpool. So if you can all, and you always get involved in the United Stand, if you can all get heavily involved in this, start voting for us, get everyone who is a United fan to vote for us. It's a challenge there, isn't it? Because we don't want to lose to Liverpool about this. So please do get involved with that. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock is the preview with Alex, Kev, Callum, and I think Dermot's on as well. So that's a more in-depth preview of the match. This is just a tactics preview. Hopefully you enjoy it. We started this off the cuff at the start of the season, and people have said, please keep doing it. So we will do. And also there's a link in there to subscribe to my new channel, the Mark Goldbridge channel, because this tactics preview show will be moving over there in a couple of weeks' time. So I wouldn't want you to miss it. But I'll also do my Q&A Monday at 9 o'clock, which is a right good laugh, unscripted questions by you. So we are very much about you. It is the United Stand. Thanks for everybody for watching. And I think we just need to move on from the Luke Shaw thing now. We're always going to keep an eye on his development. Fantastic player. We really wish him the best, but we are Manchester United. It's time to get up off the ground now, stand up and meet the challenge head on. And that's what Manchester United do. You should always give 100% in life. We expect that from Manchester United. Always give 100% in life unless you're giving blood. Thanks everybody for watching. It is the United Stand. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share the video. Thank you. See you tomorrow night.